Hey guys, welcome back to our channel and welcome to this video.
Hi friends.
In today's video, we are going to explain a little bit more about how we have our apartment that we do have. This is a follow-up for our last video, so if you want to go check that out, the link is below for you, and go watch that video and then come back to this one. And also be sure to give this video a like and subscribe for all of our videos, and let's get started. So we are able to afford our apartment in Midtown Manhattan because we are part of the affordable housing program here in NYC. And we wanted to take a minute in this video to talk about how we got the apartment, what that experience was like for us, what the affordable housing program is, and our top tips for how to go about securing an apartment in that program.
New York's affordable housing program allows people with medium, moderate, low incomes to live in more expensive areas of the city.
Which is like the whole city.
Our specific building is an 80-20 building, which means 80% of the building are market rate units and 20% are affordable housing units.
So those who normally can't afford the higher market rate units are able to apply and enter into a kind of lottery system that sorts out like their income, their financials, and everything to see if they could qualify for a affordable rate unit, which of course means that the market rate is slashed to an affordable rate based on their income bracket. And if all goes well, then they get the unit and you get to live here.
I really love that New York does this because if you look at like San Francisco, they have people who are living out in the suburbs and are getting bussed in to work at like Starbucks and Target because all of the housing in the center of San Francisco is so expensive. So I love that New York does this because not only does it keep New York from being just like a whole bunch of rich people, but it allows the working class to live in a nice location with nice amenities, but also in close proximity to the places that they work.
And of course, the building and developers are incentivized to participate in this program because of course they will receive huge tax breaks on developing buildings and renting them out and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm not a real estate person. I don't know all the fees incurred that they do, but it's a lot, I bet.
The way the program works, a lot of people think you just apply and then you win, but actually you apply for every single building.
Yeah.
Since we moved to the city 8 years ago now, we've applied to maybe like 50 buildings a year. From the time we applied to this building, which was in December of 2017, we were drawn in March of 2018 and we moved in August of 2018. So once you're drawn, you are scheduled for an interview, which means it's not really like, hey, who are you? What do you do with your life? And blah, blah, blah. It's just basically presenting a whole binder full of paperwork, your entire life's papers, meaning birth certificates, financial statements, every single thing you present. They check to make sure you have everything, and then you move on to the next phase.
Yeah, and that is to, of course, like check to make sure you qualify for the affordable rate unit. There's a whole lot of legal qualifications that you have to make, where that be like your income requirements, your like rental history, that you're a citizen or whatever, or like you're able to work or you're a resident. I don't know. There's like so many different things. Your household makeup. We had to supply our marriage certificate so that we are two people in a household making this much money. And it's not just like they can trust your employer, but like they go through all of your bank statements and you have to explain every little single deposit to make sure that it's income, what it is, what it's not. They are very thorough.
For example, if you went out to dinner with your friends and you paid for the bill and everyone Venmo'd you their portion of the bill, you would have all these Venmos for $10, $12, whatever, and then you need to prove to these people that each of those was for a meal and not because you're selling them something and they're paying you.
Yep. So we interviewed in March and then we had to go through the whole waiting process as they processed all the people before us, all the way until August, which was when we finally got word that we received the unit. And throughout that whole period, we were checking to see the status of where we were at, where other units at, and we had to, at times, supply some additional documentation. So normally, you can't contact your caseworker, but they would contact us every like week or so and be like, hey, we actually need this other form. And so we would drop everything we were doing, we would get that form, we would fill it out, we would fax it to them, whatever they needed, we'd get it notarized, and we were able to make sure that we stayed in the running for this unit. It kind of came down to the wire where this was like the last unit, and then we kind of had it, and then someone appealed, and then they got it, but then that appeal didn't go through, so then we got it again. But we're very glad that it was all worth all of the stress and all of the wait, because we ended up getting it.
The way the lottery works, when you are called in for the interview, they call in the first 50 people that qualify from the initial application, and then they call in after that 50 people at a time. So we were 50 people called in for 19 units. But even though you're part of that first batch of 50, they still go through in order of your log number, which is sort of like the number assigned to you, which means like how high you rank in the lottery. So as they're going through the applications, they have to prioritize the people in the log number order. Now we're headed into our top tips. The first tip are the resources you need in order to go through this process. Yes. The first one, the main one, is the website to apply and track your log numbers. The website address is so complicated, lots of numbers and letters and whatever. So if you just Google NYC Housing Connect, you will find the website, you can set it up there. You just have to make one application, which is so wonderful, and then you apply with that same application to all the different buildings. You don't have to resubmit all your information every single time, which I love. Yeah. The next website that's so helpful is City Data. Now, City Data is basically forums in every city in the world, and they're about all kinds of things, like new restaurants opening up and different things like that. But it's a great resource to anonymously see the status of every lottery building, assuming that the people who have been called in for that building and are in the process with you are also submitting information. So if you want to get more information, you also need to like put your status and everything that's going on with your application process into the forum.
Our next tip is to go ahead and start compiling all of your documents that you are going to need whenever you do get drawn and you get asked to interview. Because sometimes you may not get a lot of notice for that interview, and it's a lot of stuff that you're going to need to have, and you're going to want to have it like copies of it and all organized and detailed and labeled so that it's all ready to go and easy for your caseworker to go through. And those things include birth certificate, social security card, basically anything that is a government issued document, your driver's license, your passport, if you have like a right to work thing, a visa, I don't know, get it all.
Your lease agreements for the last 5 years, the record that you've paid your rent for the last 3 to 5 years.
Any like W-2s or pay stubs or whatever, you're gonna need all of that stuff and you're gonna need all of that information, so start collecting it now so that you have it whenever they ask for it.
Next tip, your caseworker will contact you usually by phone if it's urgent, or by email if they want to say like, this is our official notification to you, because you do have to reply, I want to say within 5 business days whenever they request something from you. And a lot of times they'll send the email and then they'll also call you to be like, hey, I'm sending this to you, you need to pay attention to it. If your caseworker likes you and you like them, they don't have to call you.
Yeah.
Once you identify the number of your management company, I went ahead and saved it immediately so I knew who was calling me, because I usually don't answer unknown numbers. But the trick is, if you don't answer, they'll leave a voicemail, but you have no way of calling them back. You can call back the number, but it goes straight to a voicemail and they don't answer the voicemail. You can't leave a message. So the only way you can get back to them is by email or wait for them to call again. So just stay by the phone and be ready. One tricky part about getting an affordable housing unit is that you never really know exactly when it's going to be secured. So like we said, we applied in December, we were drawn in March. We didn't really know when we were going to get the apartment. It could be any time.
Yep.
So it's tricky about that. You're probably coming from an apartment that you're renting, and you're probably under a lease that's up at a certain time of the year. So there's really no right way to do it. We got really lucky that we were able to work with our previous management company to extend our lease by 1 month because we knew we were so close.
Yeah, so I think our tip here is to know that you're not going to know when you're going to be able to get your new apartment, and so you're not going to know where that's going to fall within your current lease. So as soon as you know you're in the process, we recommend going and having a talk with your landlord and just kind of feeling out where and what and how they may be willing to work with you should you get that apartment either the next month or in 9 months. You know, it's kind of a big thing to get an affordable housing lottery, like win or be in the process. So a lot of landlords, I think, will probably be willing to work with you because they know how rare it is and how wonderful of an opportunity that is for you, especially if you're a good tenant. we had a good relationship with our landlord at the time, so they were more than willing to work with us and kind of cheering us along. Even though we would be leaving them, they knew it was such a great thing for us, and so they were willing to work with us.
Our last tip is to be extremely kind to your caseworker. Now, you can't bribe them with gifts, you can't send flowers hoping they'll just like you more. You just have to be as kind and as generous as possible anytime you're in contact with them, and understand that they're under a lot of stress, they have a lot to do. They're in one of those positions like working at the post office or working at the DMV where a lot of people don't take the time to be kind to them. So if you're kind to them, they can pay special attention to you, like calling you to give you a heads up that they're going to need something, or give you maybe some additional information, like this is happening with another applicant and whatever. So you have a little bit more sense of where you are in the process.
Yeah. And like also just keep in mind, they're dealing with so many anxious people trying to get these units. They're dealing with having to go through so much like legal process that's very nitpicky, and they're having to really pick at it. And it's like they don't make the rules, they just have to like follow them. So you can't really get mad at them if like something isn't right or whatever. I don't know. They are dealing with a lot. They're dealing with a lot of anxious people. Be sure you're so nice to them, because that can go a long way in them helping you. Ultimately, it all went well for us. We ended up getting this apartment. It is, you know, at an affordable rate for us, and most importantly, it is rent stabilized, so that way the rent can only increase very little year after year. So it looks like we will be here for a very long time, and it's finally kind of like a place we can make a home in the city and know that our rent isn't going to go up like $1,000 next year and we're going to be forced out or kicked out. So it really is just such a wonderful opportunity, and we hope that this information and these tips help you in your process in trying to find an affordable New York City housing lottery apartment. Best of luck. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and most importantly, subscribe and ring that little bell down there so you know when we have new videos. You'll be notified. It's like, hey, they got a new video. That's what that bell does. And we will see you in the next video. Thank you so much, guys.